deep dive into the theme and how to pitch, how to sell this. So, and also I realized that how much I want to make this happen. So that is a biggest takeaway for me.
And I'm surrounded. I work with a lot of alumni actually from Talents Tokyo, so there is a little bit of a FOMO in there as well. But this is actually I think my third time to apply. I was rejected for the first 2 times with my previous film, so I was like, and now I have a new project, so I was like, why not? I wanna try to be able to pitch it better, I think. And I know that Talents Tokyo is like a more like a pitch oriented sort of like labs, so yeah, we try to apply.
The project is really a bit tough, and I almost gave up this year, but I just whatever, I just submitted, and then because once I submitted up until we get accepted, it take a long time. In the meantime, I already gave up, and let's just shelf this project and try to start something else. And then I start something else, and then this thing got accepted. So it's just like bring the project back. Yeah.
I've been to previously mainly local one in Taiwan or in East Asia. And Talents Tokyo is a very special one because previously the workshop I attend is mainly for discussion or masterclass, and pitches I do it in project market. It's the first workshop that I do simultaneously the pitching training and also classes, so it's kind of like double workload for me in a way. But I think it's a very good experience that you kind of experience and receive what people are doing and kind of put it in your pitching and trying to create that kind of atmosphere in your pitching as well. So it's kind of like learning from here, and I use it immediately.
I think it's because everybody comes with a project, and everybody comes to be able to explain it better. It's not necessarily a script lab where you are drawn into like scripts and like all the nitty-gritty details about it, but it's really about communication, how to communicate your project better, how to help people understand what you want to do. And it's all abstract because it's not there, especially for some except for some documentaries. But I think it's what interesting is that it helps us to communicate about our project and in turns ourselves, I think, in a more, you can say that in a better, not necessarily better, but in a more genuine way, I would say.
Good feedback from the mentors. What really resonated to me is follow your intuition, listen more, and trust yourself. So that I would be like keeping that on my mind, like from this day forward. So
I think I did learn a lot from the pitch itself. It's because all we got is like 5 minutes. So I think how do you structure the whole pitch, the whole presentation to sell your film, from story to your inspirations to the then to the rest of the production and budgeting and schedule and all this, everything condensed into like 5 minutes. So I think that it's a lot to learn about how do you actually strategize your pitch, whether you start with a synopsis first or whether you start off with let's say what is the film about, or whether you start off with your personal story and then move on to the rest. I think that is actually, I don't think that is an definite answer to that, but it's more on every single different story, every single project, and then I think that's what I learned the most. When I came here, I sort of like prepared a draft structure on how I am supposed to present, but I think after that I just sort of like threw that out of the window and then sort of like restructure everything again.
Yeah, so I come from a sales background. I do distribution for almost 10 years, and I guess I'm kind of used to a certain way of presenting myself, presenting my projects, presenting, my branding, my company. But when you become a producer, you have to adapt to different circumstances that you pitch to different people differently. and that's not something I know how to do. But in this program, the comments from the mentors and also the pitches of other talents inspired me, and I now begin to think about like I can package the story entirely differently, for different circumstances, and that's something I learned in this program.
I think one main difference Talents Tokyo has is like people come from different backgrounds all across different countries from Asia. So like you get to know them as well as where they're coming from. There's the context they bring into their project. So you do not only learn about their projects but also what they're all struggling with, my co-talents. So like it also informs your project in a way, because it's also pushed in these different directions. It's like a rubber band. It stretches your projects in a lot of different ways.
One thing impressed me most is this some words from the tutor, not specifically on this project, but her words for me to make film in China, her encourage, that makes me like very, very committed to what I'm gonna do next, and maybe next 10 years something. Yeah, that's the most encouraging one. Yeah.
I think it's to try to always look at the project in the most honest way possible. Like it's so much about development is about packaging, like how to package your story. It's like this, it's like that. But at the end of the day, I think it's always about like going back to the first genesis, the first starting point of why you want to make it. I think it's really funny because from all the things we've learned on how to pitch, on how to talk about it, but actually the first person that you have to talk about the project about is actually yourself, and I think this is very meaningful, I would say.
I think my biggest takeaway, filmmaking is such a collaborative medium. When you're shooting a film, you're really working with, and that's what I love about filmmaking. It's such a team sport. When you show up on set, you're like working with all these moving parts to create something together. But I think when you're a director and you're a writer, it can be just you writing, and that it can feel very alienating. To be in your own head and to be generating that and like putting that on paper. But I think when you get to meet other people who are also in the process, I think that to me is the most invaluable thing. I think that is very nourishing and also very challenging at the same time. And so I feel like it couldn't have come at a better time. I feel very challenged and I feel very nourished, and I'm very glad to be able to depart this program and know that I have made these friendships and connections that, after this, if I was working on a cut, I could send it to somebody that I know has the same sensibility as me, somebody that I trust, and ask for feedback, for example.
Kind of cooking things on our own that is like really unique, and also broaden my perspective on seeing the world around me. And also I think it's a very precious opportunity that we're able to be uncomfortable, but in a very safe environment. And I think it's very important for filmmakers to get to play a bit in these kind of to experiment things within a safe playground. Yeah.
I think it's the spirit, the resilience I witnessed in my fellow participants, and it's very inspiring. And I love the theme of the lab this year, tough enough to stay vulnerable. I mean, we usually think being tough and being vulnerable are mutually exclusive, but in this case, I think it invites us to think a different way, because being a filmmaker, especially independent filmmaker, means that you will be vulnerable for your whole life and career. And there's some and that is like a strength, you know, like there's like the toughness in that, like you have to be tough to stay in that state constantly. So yeah, I love that.